So now what we need to do is that we need to work on the content that's going to be displayed in the home page. So first of all, in the home page, remember in the home page here, in the home page, I already have here the scroll view, and inside that scroll view, we need to add the content. And first of all, you need to understand what exactly I'm gonna add. Am I gonna add? So what I'm gonna add is that I'm gonna add a list, and this list will contain cards or items, where each single item is gonna represent a piece of information with its text and also image or images. So here the scroll view, inside the scroll view, we need a list. We need to create here what's called the MD list, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then MD list. And then we need to give it an ID, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the ID is going to be MD list or home list. Let's say home list. I'm going to name it home list. So what is the importance of giving it an ID? The importance is that every single uh, uh, every single element here in the KV file has an ID, can have an ID. And whenever you specify an ID, whenever you give an ID to an element, you can make reference to it in Python, meaning that in Python, you can access that element and get information about it, get information from it, or add information or data to it, which is very, very important. So now in the main app, what we need to do is that we need to make reference to it. Remember, in the main app, we already have this build function, which returns the main widget. And this build function is very important because this build function, as I told you earlier, is going to return the main widget, which returns obviously the main widget, which returns the home page. And we can add the logic here. We can add all of the logic here. Or we can use the onStart method. Here we can use the def onStart. So the onStart method is a lifecycle method, as long as, of course, as long as the build function. Both are lifecycle methods, and you can use either of them to create your logic or add your logic, so that whenever the application is up and running, the data will be displayed to the user. So you can use either the build or the onStart, but the onStart is better in terms of making requests. If you want to make requests, it's better to make it in the onStart. But you can, of course, make everything in the build function. There is no problem with this. Let me use the onStart instead. So here in the onStart, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make reference to the, remember, I'm going to make reference to here, I'm going to make reference to this, home list. However, the question is, how can we do that? How can we make reference to it? To make reference to it, we need to use the self. We need to say self.root and then IDs, and this IDs is going to return all of the IDs that we have in the KV file. And then we need to access the ID. So the ID was home list. I'm going to say home list. And now we can store it in a variable. I'm going to store it in a variable called home list. So home list is going to be equal to self.root.ids.homelist. Now I have reference to it. I have made reference to it, and I can access it in the Python file.